Jr. says the increasing rate of autism is signaling an epidemic. At a news conference yesterday, he called autism a preventable disease caused by environmental toxins.
Heartspring here in Wichita says more research is still needed. Keith Grant joining us from the newsroom for more on that. Keith.
Jacob and Rachel, the president of Heartspring, saying today they're still fighting stigma, including the debunked claim that vaccines cause autism. The president acknowledging more research is needed to understand the true causes. The latest CDC data showing 1 in 31 children are now diagnosed with autism. That's up from 1 in 36 just 2 years prior. Heartspring believes the rise may reflect more parents and teachers recognizing the signs.
So we know autism has grown, but that can just be our ability to identify it. More educators understand it. More doctors, more parents are understanding the issues with autism and what are the signs.
All right, an exciting announcement from Heartspring today, too. They shared they will build a new facility in downtown Wichita right next to the KU Biomed campus. Jacob?